Hey everyone, and welcome back to my Blacadian universe. I want to talk about Megan Sussex, the Duchess of Sussex, and her cooking show is back, and it's gotten some, I'm just going to say it, some white people really upset. and and it's funny because they will cite everything except for racism as the reason why they're so upset about it. And let's just be clear, it's because you're racist. And yeah, let's talk about it. So I always find it hilarious, and I'll post again as a throwback my previous recording, my previous episode on uh, I think this guy was just saying his shorthand for finding out if, what a white woman he was dating, he's a white guy, is racist, is he asks them their feelings on Meghan Markle. And if they basically like go into a whole rant about why they dislike her, he's like, I'm out because they're racist. And I was crying because, it's a great question, innocent question that he's like throwing out there. But then he's like, I need to get out of here because this chick's racist as hell. And it's frankly still true. I feel like it should be like a scientific theorem, because it's a proven fact at this point. Um, I dislike celebrities all the time, but do I feel like I have this visceral reaction to it? Do I have to like, write a friggin' essay on it? Do I have to wax poetic about like all the things that I hate about them? No. I'm just continuing on with my life. Okay. It's not it's not like I'm like, oh, like I don't even know if I would say hate. Like I'm like, I don't know if I have that strong of a feeling. Just dislike her in quiet. And the reason why you feel so strongly about it is because you're uncomfortable by what it says about you, because frankly, you're feeling the feels and you're realizing that you're actually a piece of crap human being that's racist. So anytime anyone, says like they can't believe that, Prince Harry would leave um the monarchy, this disgusting, colonial system for love, they're saying that because they 100% believe in their heart of racist hearts that a black woman, no matter how faintly drop of blackness in her, is not worth it. They can't understand why anybody would do anything for a black person, and that she's not capable of loving. So anything, any random white chick is better than any black woman in the world. This is what they're told. This is what they believe. This is what they're saying with their whole chest without saying it, but kind of saying it. So that's what they're trying to, convince everybody else. They're just like, they're so flabbergasted at, him making a choice for love. And if Megan Sussex, not Markle, was a white woman, this would be a fairy tale. Okay, people would be writing about how it's so fantastic, how true love triumphs. You know it. I know it. I know what the narrative would be on this story. If she had blonde hair and blue eyes, people would be like, oh my God, oh, it's such a beautiful love story. There wouldn't be random white bees showing up to their wedding in some cheap ass dress saying, Harry, I'm here, as though like he randomly would marry any old raggedy ass uh, off the street, some tired looking women off the street, because any white woman is better than a black one. Okay, yeah, no. Stop embarrassing yourselves. Like I hope those people, look back in the pages of history, when people look back on that day and you're in there going to put it in a black and white photo as though it didn't happen 5 minutes ago. And I hope they're deeply ashamed of themselves. And I hope like they're looking it through with their grandchildren, and their grandchildren are like, you were one crazy, desperate, sad, lonely cow, grandma. I hope that's their story. Uh, anyways, I digress. Um, so, people have this reaction to her having this thing, oh, it's so tone deaf, oh, it's whatever. It's her life. It is true to her story. She is doing what she does. She is having, she has a luxurious life. And so when you see her and her racial identity is not pure white, and you're looking at her, you are confused because everything about your existence that you have never, until now, decided to question, the racist ideologies that you have been swallowing and believing to make yourself feel superior to other beings, has never, ever, ever been thrown out of whack like seeing a Black person, a biracial person, live a soft, luxurious, wonderful life. You cannot imagine being envious and jealous of somebody that isn't white. That has never before happened to you. And you don't like those feelings. You don't know what to do with those feelings. She isn't, centering whiteness in her story. She's not saying, oh, I'm getting this richness off of because I had these trials and tribulations. She is, just successful in her own right. And she's, you know, sharing what she likes to do, how she likes to live her life, how she likes to cook, hanging out with other celebrities. She's just enjoying this life, and you are confused by it because the tale of this isn't about um, suffering. It's not about anything. It's just about her being in luxury, her being in love, her being in happiness, and with her family and friends, and, just living it up. And it disturbs people because they can't compute. They can't compute. And instead of, looking inward, as always, what racist people do is they try to blame, punish, and take away, detract, so that they can feel comfortable in their inferiority by trying to spread it around. And I find it just absolutely hilarious, the backflips that people have to do to try to make their prejudice and their, racism make sense. You don't like her because you don't like that she has something that you want, whether it be Prince Harry or a Netflix cooking show where she's cooking with Mindy Kaling. You don't like it because you don't think she deserves it because she is a biracial woman. Period. Just own it. Just own it. We all know it. And just own it. Be okay with it. If you want to be that type of person, then be that type of person. But please, 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 for the love of God, stop pretending that it has something to do with deserving and, oh, this is this and that or whatever. You just don't like it because it makes you uncomfortable with who you are as a person. And the funny thing is, there are white women that are loving it. And it's, to me, like her fans and her following, white women just eating it up and loving it. You know what? And I'm saying this a little tongue in cheek, but I'm thinking like they've evolved. Okay, this is like an evolved white lady. I'm like, you should take samples of their DNA and blood and see if they are actually oh God. Oh, people are gonna be. Anyways, I think you should just, they're like another species to me. that they're just like lapping it up. They're loving it. They're like, I love Meghan Markle. Like, I think people had like tattoos of like, anyways, I'm just saying, like, I love it. Like, that guy should be dating those women because they are just in love with Meghan Markle or Meghan Sussex, sorry. And, I feel like, good for you. Good for you. I mean, just acknowledging that they, um, like her, that kind of admiration that, um, is just uh, rarely seen that white women have for a biracial woman, outside of like, it's rare. It's rare. It's a rare sighting. So whenever that happens, I always take a moment and I was like, you know what? Respect that you can just, like what you like. And, maybe they've had those feelings, challenged their preconceived notions about, who has access to luxury in our society. And they were like, you know what? I like what I like. I like watching bougie shit. I don't care who's doing it. I'm in. So, yeah, respect. So, I wanted to end on this point about luxury and who has permission to have luxury. So, as I'm recording this, it's coming up to um, the day of, rest for Black women, an International Day for Black Women Rest. It's also, it was International Women's Day recently. So I'm thinking of, Black women in particular as a Black woman. And this notion of who has access to luxury things. And I talk about this a lot where I'm in spaces, I occupy spaces, so, predominantly white spaces, and especially when I'm in a position of authority in my work, it confuses people. I can see it; they're struggling. I can see the wheels turning of them trying to come to grips with it. And of course, in Canada, people are going to be super polite about the racism, but I can see the shock and wonder and weirdness. And to their credit, a lot of people um, do appreciate that that's a them problem, not a me problem. They don't start questioning my credentials and my ability to be there in this role. They do take it inward. So I'm like, you know what? Good for you. But um, just being luxury spaces. So when I go, I'll admit it, I'm bougie as hell. And, I'm going out. I treated myself, to a spa day recently when I go into these spaces and it is predominantly white places. Um, you know, I always see, depending on the place, I like thank God there's more options of, black owned businesses now, and that's, where I'm going to be spending my coins. But when I go into these spaces and it's predominantly white and it's not even that luxury, it's sort of like, um, having the ability to, work, um, hybrid, which I do, and just being able to like access the space. So when I go, for walks around and, I go pop into a coffee shop at like, on a Tuesday at like 10:30 when most people are, at work and just having time to have these luxuries. And I'll be honest, I'm surrounded by like retirees and like housewives and people expect me to um not be there. I see the stares, I see the looks, I see the confusion of how I'm here having this luxury of rest, having the ability to take that time to go for walks in my neighborhood. That is luxury. That takes, that is wealth as well to have that time. And so when I see the people not seeing how I'm here, belonging in these spaces, being able to like, people like walking their dogs and just being able to, relax and enjoy this life. This is the kind of luxury that I'm saying that we need to normalize for Black people in particular, because we are not enslaved anymore. Okay. And there is this, idea, hustle culture, all this stuff. And that's, great for a time. But for Black people, particularly, especially in this climate, when we talk about, you know, um, the 92% and just especially my American neighbors and just resting and taking that time to say, I'm just going to take some time to take care of myself. I think that is literally a revolutionary act, especially for us, especially for Black people. We had to fight. We are fighting. We have been fighting for hundreds of years for basic human rights. And I think the world will miss our passion and our magic and our humanity when we focus and flow that inward. And I think it is time for us to do that. Call it selfish, call it whatever, but I'm taking that moment to be selfish. And I think we all need to take a pause and take a moment, you know, and recoup and regroup, because there's a lot of hate directed at Black people in the world. I think it's time that we just show love. We can do it all. We can do it all. We have been doing it all. We have been thriving and surviving and doing magnificent things under extreme conditions of oppression and hate. And I think we should just take a step back from that and center ourselves, center our stories, center ourselves in this story for a little while. And it's already happening, where they're going to appreciate, our oppressors are going to appreciate just how powerful we are, why they look to us for everything, for frankly culture, for humor, for comedy, for dance moves, for seasonings, for everything, and it will be missed. I know I'm taking that time, and if you are a Black person listening to this, I encourage you to take that time for yourself and just pour into yourself as much as you can for as long as you can, because I know that you can't pour from that empty cup. And when we come back, we're going to come back even stronger, even better, which frankly, I can't even imagine what we can do with a little bit of rest, because we are amazing as it is. So I'm just looking forward to that next phase, but I'm also looking forward to this phase of rest. Very important, very important phase. And I think it's in a very important time in history, and for us to take care of ourselves. So I'm really enjoying this phase very, very much. So yeah, watch that Netflix show and, enjoy some luxury. Normalize seeing people that don't look a certain way, enjoying and doing their best life, because I think we're going to see a lot more of that now. Being uncomfortable, as much as the world is trying to take that away, I think luxuriating hard is a form of resistance for Black people, and I, for one, am for that. So, as always, thank you so much for listening. Take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you next time.